Hey everybody, this is Average Drafter. We are working on a system called WowShell. Um, and essentially what it is a set of tools for extracting World of Warcraft data and for utilizing that data in Godot for whatever purpose. Um, Extraction is going really well. Uh, the utilization is going pretty well. Um, got some performance optimizations to do, just, fine tuning for each individual use case. But I kind of wanted to go through a couple of the use cases to show you what it is, and then also a couple of the tools that I'm using just to develop it and to get an idea, just to play around with World of Warcraft assets. Okay, so we are kind of in the middle of our what's called the Deadmine Adventure project. Um, so I'll show you that before we go on to other stuff. We'll load up Godot and the Deadmine Adventures project. That's this guy right here. Projects on. But I am using Claude to tear apart WoW, understand how it's built, how its assets are stored, and how the world is constructed. Uh, then going to now I am in the process of reassembling it for my own purposes. So right now, what I'm doing is we've got the dead mines loaded into Westfall, so there's no portal in between, but it is not aligned properly. I've aligned it a few times now, and not save the position. So we're trying to get that worked out to where whenever I realign it, it will save the uh, objects database. Basically, you have smaller objects called M models. You have a bit of a different classification for our models that WoW uses. Um, Now, as you can see, we're in Northshire, starting location. Uh, Everything's loading up a little bit weird. Have had our NPCs available. We have had mobs available with textures and full animations, but we were using WoW export to get that data. And that was on a previous version. On this version, I wanted to get all the data directly from the game data itself, so that if a person ran our install, it would not be installing any game data, it would be caching it from existing game data, and it would basically put it in a format that's nice for our executable to read, but other than that, it um, won't be shipping with any kind of game data. It's just using what's on most people's systems. If you played Warcraft and if you have a current version of Warcraft, probably even a not very current version of Warcraft, this should work. Um, so right now we're just in the process of remapping all this stuff to get it from the game data instead of something like WoW export. And there's gaps. Spirit healer here. Apparently, spirit healer from the graveyard, I assume. It's wandering around because it spawned in like a mob. What all these red guys are, critters and NPCs and stuff, are spawning in as mobs, which means they're just going to wander around and attack me if I attack them. What most of the mobs do. Like if you look in the background, you can see the mobs aren't moving back there very much, and that is because the AI gets turned off on level 0. So some of those mobs aren't having their AI firing on purpose, because AI turns out up a lot of frame. Take a look at the frame rate, not bad. And as you can see, there's a controller down there. I'm using a controller. My Essentially what I'm doing here is prototyping combat system that I've thought about for a while. Uh, and I can get into more specifics as I've developed it. But for right now, it's just a single player RPG with a kind of a Zelda slash is what I call it. Push a button and you slash. It's not auto attacking, not just kind of just stand there and auto attack happen and you occasionally throw it in a swing on every slash. Jump, swing on every slash. The other face buttons will have other purposes. I'm not even sure if I'm going to keep jump as a button. It's not really that necessary for WoW. Like a couple places in Classic, Wailing Caverns is one that actually use it. I'm not going there. I don't think Deadmines uses jump at all. But obviously people are too. So maybe there will be jump, I don't know. But it definitely won't be a face button for other things. Uh, but yeah, all the different things that you need to load up WoW. This isn't all of it. Interior objects are not there, so banners and stuff aren't there. I have to figure out what's going on with that. Trees look pretty good, but they're not necessarily perfect. So work on those. Odds and ends here that need to be worked on. But for now, let me show you kind of the scope of what we're dealing with. And if you that's a nice texture on there. Called a splat map, control map, basically pulling textures and blending them to have a nice resolution without having an insane memory. Let's swim up here. This is swimming mode. Swim around. You guys know this or not, but you can swim up to fly into the Abbey, drop on down. All right, have some much fun. All right. The other thing is that we have run speed times 5. It's obviously very. Head out to Elwyn. Good stuff. And swimming, we can get up to 20. Nice that we learning ourselves with this adventure. It's Westfall, Elwyn, Stormwind, and that's pretty much it. The rest of this is border, going to be shrouded fog or something else to keep people from playing it or going there. But for the most part, people know what's going on. This isn't a full game. They know that there's history borders. I feel like having to account for the entire continent, just a small part of it, so I'm not going to. And it's just the better way of doing it. But yeah, this is a great view. Debug menu. One of the cool things about just being able to mess around with this is to see little bits and pieces about how this work. One thing that's pretty obvious is how much they hide with trees. Trees are in this game are incredibly low poly for the era. They're super low poly, so they hide a lot. Kick your level of detail way down. Crazy empty at it, obviously. Take a look at like the uh, here is that splat map that we just talked about. The far texture is the minimap texture. Um, really useful for doing all sorts of things that show up on distant terrain. Also, it's kind of nice because it has a nice baked-in lighting texture, so you can see how the closer stuff is a little brighter. See it get brighter. We haven't really baked in the lighting effects yet, but the mini map which is what the back textures there based on has. So if we got the level of detail down to for this detail level, it may not look like it changed too much underneath this. Got a little bit darker. What really happened was that instead of using the uh, flat map that we were just looking at for the terrain, we are mini map. Ever looked at the mini map really close? It's real blurry, real fast. That's what's happening. Our mini map, our full color does. But map, it's not that far away. Good from a distance. I think it looks better than it looks really good. Like look at all that Westfall stuff. That looks just fantastic. All right, let's check and see how our Deadmines is doing to make it. One of the neat things about what we're doing here is that we have Deadmines. It's not a portaled instance. It attached to it directly from without any portal or anything. And yeah, streaming and information, loading data is always tricky. There's ways to do it slowly, meter it. Are metering some of it. Obviously, some of it's not. Gotta have to see the same model and no texture because we have not built the system for pulling in player character or sorry, non-player character for like mobs and minions are usually not armored or have gear, but a lot of our mobs and player or non-player do. So pipeline going to do just kind of go. Don't really have to kind of show the mine entrance. Kind of work our way. Lighting is obviously very flat. Prove that. That's another thing that we had working in version. Kind of take a step back and make sure that kind of doing things the right way. What screw? Okay, so NC means no collider. Swim kind of drops us to the floor, but that's okay. Fly, fly, fly. Let's see. There's the jump. Glider back on. Ball. So that is the big gate in Stranglethorn. Suggested that Juggernaut should be coming out. This is where we currently are, but this is not the location that it's supposed to be. Whenever we initially placed this, we placed it off where it was supposed to. So you back over here. Look, all this mess. See if we can out how to ground. All right. So pick something over here so it's out of the way. Go into edit mode. Stuff around. Way. That's fine. Ah, so moving around, this moves around. Boy, did we misalign this somehow badly. I think I see two like pieces that other. Right now I've got arrow keys and up and down. Might not be what I thought it was. Right, let's see. Oh, let's see. Oh, okay. I think that's it. All right, pop in. This is the entrance. This is the portal itself. Down. So save by supposedly save by exiting. Edit mode. to do a quick run through of everybody's favorite dungeon with nothing in it. Bad lighting, no mobs. Runs a little better once you get to the end. Some stuff loads out. But this is a proper dungeon. Proper feature. This is the sort of thing that you would definitely run. Classic Dungeons and Dragons type camp. All sorts of interesting stuff going on. Again, interiors of the world models are not populating. I'll definitely take a look at that. Turn right now. That information available. So we'll come back out. Look at our new Juggernaut location. Now that we're all properly aligned. And it's pretty close to that door, man. It's not far away at all. See the doors on the other side. We can look back at the dungeon, its layout, terrain. Typically, the map that the Deadmines loads into has terrain in it, so you would see any of this stuff, but it does not right now, all of it. So yeah, the Deadmines loaded into Westfall. At some point, I am going to be completing the around here, possibly what exists to fill it in. We'll go ahead and take a look at the exit area. That's of just how far away it is from the actual uh, end of the model area. So normally you'd exit off the other side of the boat and come up here, some walkways and whatnot, but that doesn't exist. It's part of not the dungeon, but just the world itself. But again, out beautiful day that you always see when you get mine. Just a nice, just gorgeous house. Take a look at that here. So yeah, this is where the Juggernaut would usually come out, or not say usually, but this is where it's not even supposed to, where it was planned to come out. But they decided that the event would spoil Juggernaut, and they're still trying to work out what was going to be changing in the world and what wasn't. It's fun to chill. Check out little areas like this that you might not have seen, because get to them in Classic. I didn't spend a lot of time flying around, and actually, I don't think I ever got to flying in Vanilla or Post Cata. I never really looked around all this stuff anyway. I honestly don't know what you can and can't see. Uh, oh yeah, that's substance, because does it to begin with, or does it? That that's the Deadmine Adventure. Um, I'm working on the combat system and just adapting this whole area that we all know and love so well uh, to work as a video game. Um, you know, mostly just having fun. WoW itself is a pretty simple game as far as the combat goes. Uh, about as basic an RPG system as you're going to get. Um, it's not, an 8-bit JRPG Flash, but you know, simple's not bad when you're trying to test out some new stuff and you uh, just a known quantity to test against. That's what I'm doing, testing against known quantity for a fairly unique combat system that I'll probably show off in WoW, probably as it developed. Goes over to Stormwind, but Lag City. You know what? Oh, Stormwind. That's the way. Multiple cathedrals. Unfinished business from the top. No liquid down there yet. Yours or whatever. But Stormwind. Is this actually a bank in the game, or is this just a blank room? I think it turned into it. Obviously, see some beds. About the other raid here. It's supposed to be probably a stockades like raid. Nobody liked the stockades. Asking for this. Sure. Section over here. No portal. Bad frame rate. Not actively calling out anything. Probably loading in. Right. So that is the Deadmines Adventure. Essentially just, Deadmines, North Shire to Deadmines. Other one that I'm working on, excited about, and have less done with, but it's more of this is a test to try out some new authoring tools. to work with WoW to help build some terrain, add tiles, and uh, not build new models, but kind of use the existing models, but in new ways. Uh, Being able to pull them in by subgroup as opposed to full models, so that if you have like a Hall of Karazhan that you like, you can use that instead of Hall of Karazhan, that sort of thing. So let's take a look at Ravenloft. Got very little done on it, but what we've done is pretty cool. Uh, this is the famous, I think it's famous, Ravenloft map from '83. World map. This guy. I looked at this a lot when I was a kid. My brother had this expansion module, and I loved looking at this map. Well, this map and the other one especially. This map was not a slouch. And what's happening here is that this is essentially World of Warcraft terrain. Uh, Same sort of, like actually the same exact chunk system used. Same data uh, format and all that, but it's only a color map, sort of like we had for our mini map was posting on top of it for long distance. The thing is, we don't have any control map data for this yet. So, even though all this terrain is, you know, World of Warcraft size, supposed to be to scale, so this is supposed to be a full city. This is going to be a full castle. This is where the castle sits. Path, purple areas are mountainous. This is supposed to be significantly higher, I think, than this, but that's just the height map is just going by the uh, total value of it. So while these are darker than the green, so they show up higher, it's not quite the distance between the two of them that should be. But what is kind of neat is that the markings for cliff wall make great cliff walls whenever you run it through a height map. So these cliff walls that have been, and kind of see them on the legend over here, cliff walls, because they're black and they stand out, make pretty good cliff walls. That over here. And then because the castle is obviously raised higher on purple, it's on purple, raised up higher on here. You can actually see purple, you get walls and castle. Code going to it, 3D kind of carved into it because white go low, darker goes high. The water and the green are sort of the same level, but it works well enough. You can see the uh, grid lines. Is funny that you can see those. The height map. That's what's happening here. See, it's not a very high res image at all, for sure. But you have a high res map when you have this kind of displacement map. WoW uses. Actually, those are really good from a distance. Not that great when you like a little stain. But and the other thing you've noticed is that there's these floor maps for castle that I have not, obviously not ranged or like that, but that is how we're going to build out this adventure. It's the bones of one of the classic D Castle Ravenloft and surrounding areas. Uh, Up a very famous isometric drawing of Castle Ravenloft that came. It's so popular with specific map style that had not been done. It's gorgeous looking. I looked at this map for hours. The real one is sort of orangish looking. This one's colored. But as you can see, all these encounters and details are all in the expansion. book. Uh, don't know how much of this I'm actually going to adapt as I fill this stuff in, but you know, it's a guiding tool, that's for sure. One of the problems with a lot of the earlier Dungeons and Dragons books or games or modules or stories or whatever, they were just brutally hard, unnecessarily so. Um, and just that just kind of fit with the geeks of the era, the nerds of the era, man. Definitely reality, see and whatnot. Like to punish ourselves back then. Um, but yeah, this is Ravenloft. Uh, kind of sort of built out well. This is the authoring aspect of WowShell that I'm going to be working on, and my hope is that I'll be able to obviously like Duskwood is this you know terrain set like the buildings and everything can Duskwood roads and everything forest. Uh, you know, uh, this is not a uh, particularly setting. Uh, Craft obviously pulls from a lot of the same threads that this does, so a lot of the same art direction and style that Warcraft will work here. Um, so I'm excited to try that out, walk out some of these, um, get some game models in, system of working with the submodels as opposed to uh, the full model for things. So if I like something from Shadowfang and something from uh, Bathholm to Castle here, I can do that. Problem. But yeah, Ravenloft, exciting. Those are the two main projects that I'm working on. WoW Shell. Got a third one that I don't really want to talk about because it's more of a special long-term project, but it's definitely exciting. But I'll that for another. Yeah, if you just see the closer look at the, I'm not even sure these are the ones that we had loaded in Ravenloft maps. Not sure if this specific one is from like the Curse of Strahd. I'm only really familiar with the first expansion, first module. I played around with it, but my understanding is that Curse of Strahd was very much based on that specific of that first module, which is if this is from that, then it makes sense why it looks. But that's uh, that's the majority of what I've been working on as far as working with Claude to dismantle and study and understand World of Warcraft. It's been a very fun experience. I guess I can show you some of the other real quick. The actual WowShell project has some tools, a compositor, and then just kind of the tester. See a big long level of detail and that sort of thing. So compositor, and this is as simple as it can get, are just making maps, whatever area you want, and loading it in. Oh, import it. Okay. Yep. This is using the mini map, and this is only using the map, so you can see kind of what I was talking about as how effective it is. It has the buildings on it, so from a distance, like it might have meshes and stuff, but yeah, it bad when you get close, but further away, perfect. Especially if so, this is the compositor. You're just trying to get different terrain from yeah, whatever reason. I'm just pulling from the same continent, but other continent. Interesting. Stranglethorn in my should play that. Save that. Blah. Go over to our terrain tester, what we did most of our early work in, just to get it stuff loaded and tested. See, what was working and what was not working. Um, so right now it's just it's going through and finding all the tiles that we did not have data for, and it's extracting all that data from the actual World of Warcraft data files. So I'm not sure which one it's having trouble with. Most of these probably should be uh, cached already for the most part, I think. So after it does its initial extracting, it might find one or two that weren't cached, but most of these pop up and starts counting down. And again, this is one of those sections where it's just like, you're just waiting for it to do some stuff. Uh, this is the part of like the install. It would likely be going in and taking, 20 minutes or so to beta, something like Deadmines. Um, you should start seeing it, stuff coming. Oh no, it's still extracting. So yeah, right now it's pulling in the control maps, which are those splat maps that we talked about. It also has things like specular maps, normal maps. Uh, Sorts of things are considered part of the control map, but for our purposes, the main thing that we're concerned about is splat map, which is essentially a three, more than that, but it's a multicolor um, combination of blends that then the system will go and replace those colors with a texture. So if you look at stones on a walkway real close, you can tell that those are not super blocky textures. And you can also just know that you couldn't have a high res texture covering a color map covering the whole area. It would slow and go too long. It's not practical. So the way that it does it is it has these what are called splat maps, and it's just blending colors. And then instead of blending the colors, it will blend textures the same way. And it's an easy, cheap way to uh, give a lot of high resolution textures to terrain without having to store an absurd amount of like you would if it's just a plain color map. It works great. It's obviously the main system for painting terrain, has been since forever. All right. All right, so here it goes. It's starting to pull them all in. And again, typically after the extraction phase, when starts just actually loading the models in uh, during a normal load. After it's done, it's extracting the first time you've loaded some of these things. Uh, it will start to fill in immediately. It'll fill in immediately after you. Here we go. We have the landscape that we just pulled, composited, um, all the information and data and stuff that it didn't have. It pulls. Oh, time to load. Loading all that data and that stuff just hasn't loaded. Oh, again. And that's it. I mean, pull these guys in. Yeah, see, good classic. Just go run around and check stuff out. Uh, you know, any way that you want, things should load in, and eventually it'll have all the little tags and ads to the reason not showing up right there. Okay. Yeah, positive terrain purposes. Who knows? Uh, one of the things I thought would be interesting is like fixing kata, uh, in kata models to fix some vanilla stuff, but the more I looked at the kata models, I realized they didn't really fix much. Kind of buried dire ball in a bunch of mud instead of like building it out like a real city. So you could fly over and look, that kind of like cheap, not cheap, no, not the best solution they could. But yeah, so that's the compositor and the basic terrain tester. While it did take a little bit of time to extract, uh, that's just kind of how it works. It'll take a little bit of time to extract, but once it's extracted, in fact, let's go ahead and try to load. That's the extraction stuff. And again, you can do extractions at different times. Uh, Install. Yeah, so after the extraction is done, and it pulls the game data from WoW, uh, saw this other stuff learns. Pretty neat, pretty neat stuff. Uh, pretty. And this world is very malleable. Does a lot of neat things. Has a lot of neat stuff in it. Tell a lot of cool stories in it. Tell a lot of cool stories in cool ways. And so much of it was left to kind of just die on the vine too. So you can pick up threads that were left off, and those are all very cool things to do. And that's it. That's just kind of a tour of how I've been using Claude and WoW and Godot to kind of learn about video games and especially big ass video games. Learn about level of detail and how memory works and how memory goes from one place to another. And getting all that data around is such a task and a chore. And that's some fascinating stuff to learn because it's helping me make this a really fun, performative game. And that's what I want. And the ultimately it's to prototype another game that doesn't use any kind of WoW assets or any kind of WoW anything. It's just a new type of game that exists because I was able to test it out on existing stuff. Uh, but that's the plan. That's what I'm doing, and it's exciting stuff, and I'm glad to be doing it. Excited that you guys got to see all that. So thanks for watching.